Hey, it's Emily Williams, the founder of I Heart My Life and your host of the I Heart My Life show. This is episode 162, What Worked in 2020, Installment 2 with Valerie Del Grosso. So one of the things that I love about our I Heart My Life Mastermind is that it brings together a diverse group of incredible women who are ready to go to the next level. Valerie is a lawyer who has always had a practice that is brick and mortar, and she decided she wanted to offer online services going forward to all the coaches who were coming her way requesting her support. So last year she started her business, and then going into 2020, she knew that there was more that she could achieve. She wanted to go from that 5K month mark all the way up to 20K months. So when she joined the mastermind, she definitely had some financial goals in place, but she wasn't completely certain about how to make it happen. So today she shares how she went from that 5K month all the way up to 27K months in just a year. She also talks about the fact that she only worked 10 to 12 hours per month in her online business to get these results. So I'm going to let her share all of the juicy details. I'm sure you are dying to know. And just as a reminder, make sure to listen not only for inspiration, but for implementation. What action steps are you inspired to take after listening to Valerie's incredible story? Let's dive in. This episode was sponsored by the I Heart My Life Mastermind. The I Heart My Life Mastermind is perfect for you if you already have a business and you're looking to scale. We cover tons of different topics. We cover marketing strategy, revenue planning, team, processes, everything you need in terms of mindset, high performance, really taking care of yourself as well as your business, events, publicity. We literally have 7 coaches under one umbrella to support you and give you the answers to all of your burning questions. We host regular weekly workshops where you get your personal questions answered. We have retreats. You have a private Slack channel where you get to ask questions 24/7. You have an extensive resource bank that helps you put in place our cash method in your own business, and much, much more. This is one of the most inventive programs around. I don't know anyone else offering the service that we provide. So if you are interested in growing your business and transforming your life, definitely book a call with us to learn more. Go to iheartmylifebooking.com and learn more about the I Heart My Life Mastermind. Hey everyone, it's Emily Williams here, and I am joined by the incredible Valerie, who is a member of our I Heart My Life Mastermind, and she's going to share a little bit more about the work that she does. But we wanted to jump on before the end of the year just to talk a bit about what worked for her in 2020. And Val, I have to admit, you and I had this bonus one-on-one session, and all of a sudden you were like, you know what? I was preparing for this interview and I just, figured out that I made this, and this in my business. And you just rattled off all these amazing numbers. And I was blown away by the transformation that you've seen this year. And so I'm excited for you to just share that with our community so they can see what's possible, but also get some tangible action steps that they can put in place in their life and business. So welcome.
Thank you. Definitely. I'm happy to share. It was, a surprise in a way, but also when I look back at what I did, it makes sense that those are the results that I had.
Love it. So tell everyone a little bit about your work and your business.
I am a lawyer. This is my 13th year of practice. And about 6 years ago, I went on my own and started a local practice, which I do still have. And that's kind of my full-time thing that I do. But also in building that business, I joined a lot of business coaching groups, and coaches were starting to come to me with legal questions. So that began what is a side hustle, sort of. And so now I'm a lawyer for coaches.
Love it. And tell people a little bit about the shifts in your online business. Obviously, with COVID and everything, a lot of people are moving online. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about where you were at the start of the year compared to where you are now.
Definitely. At the start of the year, the online portion of my practice was really more of a hobby in a way. I had initially dreamed of it being this overnight success, and I tried a lot of things, but I realized that the tech piece was just something I probably was never going to do myself, but I was also afraid to hire and get that kind of help and make those kind of investments. So about a year prior to starting the mastermind, I did take on a partner who helped me set up a system to automate the way that I bring leads onto my email list. But then we parted ways. She has another business, and I still wasn't sure if I wanted to do this full time. So coming into the mastermind, I knew I had this audience that wanted things from me. I knew I had sort of a general desire to have this be more. And I wasn't exactly sure what to do with all of that, but I knew I had something good and didn't want to just abandon it. And so the mastermind was a place where I could come to talk to people about what exactly was possible through the example that other people were setting in their own businesses. So that was kind of right at the start of the year. I had something, but I wasn't exactly sure what it was or what it could be.
And what were your goals in particular? What did you want to achieve financially? What did you want to achieve personally?
Yeah, so I think my financial goals for it were vague. And there were so many exercises that we did in the mastermind that helped me discern that better and just even put it on paper and see where it could go. And so it took a lot of the attachment and perfectionism out of it to just say, hey, I've got this thing that's great. Let me pick a number. So coming in, I was just at about 100,000 for that business. And I did at the beginning of the year set a goal that I wanted to go to 240. But the thing to understand is that even at this point in the year, what is it, December 3rd, I'm at about only 120 hours for the year working on this business. And so that goal felt really big because I didn't have a lot of hours to put towards it. But it was also a little bit of a game, I'll say, to see how much value I could build out of a very part-time endeavor.
Right. So to break that down, if you're at about 120 hours, what is that? About 12 hours? No, not even 12 hours a month.
Yeah, not even 12 hours a month. And that wasn't on purpose exactly. That was just a function of the fact that I'm running a practice and serve dozens of clients and have this whole other thing going. I also have a baby who is 17 months old today. So a lot of this was happening with the baby in tow. And I think I just did the math. Sorry, my brain is on Hawaii time here.
No, you forgot to mention you're in Hawaii.
Yeah, yes. So my average customer spend was $793 for this year. And that's a combination of some high ticket things that I added, but a lot of accessible pricing for my clients that I was able to capture. And so I'm at about 180 now for the year, and I'm feeling really good about it for the time frame that I put in.
That's amazing. So 180,000 for the year and about 10 to 12 hours a month in the online business. That is just like blows my mind. So, because I know you said, you were at 4 or 5K months on average, and you wanted to obviously improve on that and grow. And there were some months where you hit 27,000, 22,000, 15,000. And so things transformed dramatically, but you weren't at all like running yourself into the ground. It wasn't like, in order to almost double your business, you had to double your efforts. So I think that's what is so important about this conversation, because I'd love for you to share what it was that you did differently, whether it's mindset wise, strategy wise, that you feel really led to that transformation.
Definitely. So yeah, I started at 4,000 or 5,000 and then working up. Ever since the summer, I would say I've been about $17,000 to $25,000 a month. And to be perfectly honest, every month I'm thinking, how am I going to do this again? How did it happen last month? But I've really been looking into it. And I think the game changer for me was going from having just one offer that was sold for anywhere between $700 and $1,000 to having multiple offers, sort of the ascension model. So I have a variety of price points now between $100 and $1,000 for kind of my lower ticket items. And then I added 3 half-day VIP offers that are really fun and easy for me to deliver that I can sell for as much as $7,800. And I should say to whoever is listening to this, I am the total perfectionist, do not believe in magic, realist, analytical person. And so going into it, I was willing to have the experimenting heart to say, let me just put this out there and see if it will work, and be willing to accept if it doesn't and use that information. But what has happened is I've been really engaged with my audience through email. And so they've come to me to tell me exactly what their struggles are and what they're looking for from me. And because of my limited time, I'm not able to create something that I think they'll want. I really only have time to create what they're telling me they want. And that's really cut down on a lot of the time and energy spent on things that don't have a return.
That's awesome. What a great reminder. How often are we guessing when we could just ask people what it is that they want from us? And people are telling us that on a regular basis if we're willing to listen as well. Like there's always clues in terms of their questions and, just being more of the observer to pay attention to what people are actually craving. So I love that. And one of the other things I know that has been a big shift for you is also your husband's situation. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because I'm not actually sure that was part of the plan, but that's what happened.
Yeah. So there came a point, my husband is a crane operator, which is a well-paying but long-hour type of big job. And so with a baby, with running a local practice, with trying to do this on the side, with trying to just live life, I was finding more and more that I was getting screwed by a company that I don't even work for. So I was in this position of being this, enlightened, proactive woman who's so enlightened and proactive that I'm the only person available to do baby doctor appointments and baby bedtime. And it's like, wow, this feels like an ironic situation to be in. So he was in the military. And so we had already had experiences of when one of us is not working or has downtime, that just generally our lifestyle is so much better. And it came to the point where it's so much easier for me to send one email to my list and make 2 or 3 times his weekly take-home pay than it is for us to be working around this really hard schedule. So his dad was having some health issues this year, and he was going to take some time off anyways. And almost immediately our standard of living just came up so much. We're both so much happier. And so that is going to be the indefinite thing we're doing, is that he is not working. And I should say at the beginning of the year, part of the reason the financial goals were kind of hard for me to pin down is because I came into this really wanting to have a lifestyle change. I had had really great success in my local practice, but I felt like no matter how much money came in, nothing was changing on a daily basis. So I wanted to be really intentional about lifestyle shifts. So even though I didn't know this specifically would be it, it's worked.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. It's so inspiring. And it's a testament to, the faith that you have in the work that you're doing, because I know in the beginning it was kind of like, is this a fluke? Is this going to keep happening? And now you felt a bit more grounded in it. And you guys have that trust there. And I love the fact that you're in Hawaii and now you're feeling a bit more location independent. I know you also have a place on the East Coast. So much has shifted lifestyle wise for you. And honestly, that just makes me emotional, because that's why we do what we do. It's not about the dollars in the bank. It's really about the life that you're creating and allowing yourself to have freedom and to have choice. And everyone's version of success looks different. And so now you get to choose, and now you get to decide what it looks like for you and your family.
Yes, it is. It's all happening. And I feel I'm not caught up to the fact that this is reality, but I'm super thankful for the way that it all unfolded. And I think the most important part is I didn't have to sacrifice the way that I want to be with my audience. I talk to them the way that feels natural. I'm giving them the things that I know that they want. It's really a happy relationship to have. And compared to, especially when I worked as a lawyer in other people's firms, it was just a grind. I didn't get to choose who I worked with. I couldn't really identify how the work was impacting anybody. It's just this dream scenario now. And I thought I would have to compromise so much of that for the financial results, but actually focusing on the relationship and the way I want to feel in doing this work has brought so much abundance.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I love it. So many people do have a fear of success because they're worried about what's going to happen on the journey and what it's going to require. So you've really been able to, make a decision about what this looks like for you. And I know that you were also able to transform some of the things in your brick and mortar business and the practice so that also required less of you and you're doing more of what you actually love and what your zone of genius is.
Definitely. I came up on the realization this year that I am a very goal-oriented person and don't so much love being in process. And I realized that my local practice was requiring a lot of process work that could be done by someone else who really is motivated and inspired to go through the checklist and really be processing. So it helped me adjust what my role is. I have a business partner in that business, and it helped identify her role. And even going into that, I knew that I wanted to build wealth, and that's kind of where my mind is going for the future. And so in my inbox is a contract to purchase an office building for that business. And so I'm kind of meditating on it to see if we're going to go forward. But that's really going to be the first step to positioning that as something that we can sell.
Oh, awesome. Love it. So one of the things that you did, like you said, is created an ascension model. You got super clear on what your clients wanted from you and only created that and offered that. You maintained the relationships. You sent emails. You were authentic. You stayed true to yourself. You really decided that this was about a lifestyle change and you got clear on what you wanted. Anything else mindset wise that you feel you did differently this year that made a big difference?
I think the big mindset thing was that I leaned into the fact that I have constraints that I have to work with, and I let that sort of guide the creativity. And so, especially for selling at those higher price points that I've never done before, I thought I was going to have to throw in everything in the kitchen sink and need a big team to deliver it. And instead, I looked at it to say, how can I get a really great result for my client that also works for me without having to give away the farm? And I remember watching a webinar prior even to being in your mastermind that you put on, talking about how adding a high ticket item really transformed your business on the way to 7 figures. And I think that was always brewing in my subconscious. And so finding a way to make that work for my industry and my audience, but also my schedule, was a big shift.
Yeah. And now I feel like so many people are benefiting because you made that decision. Because I know that you offer the opportunity to work with you to create certifications and things that a lot of people are craving. And you're doing it in a way that feels good to you. And what you're touching on here is what we always say: what is the fastest, easiest, and most joyful way to create the money? And sometimes we make it much harder than it needs to be. And we feel like we need to sell 1 million spots of these things when we could just create one thing and sell a couple of those to the people who already know, like, and trust us, and be able to have more impact and create more revenue.
Definitely. You don't need thousands of clients to make a really great income. And I am so thankful because I am seriously so in love with all of the people that I'm working with right now. And I don't have any reason to think it's not always going to be like that.
Yeah, I know that you were in the second level of our mastermind, and I know a lot of the ladies got to work with you and you guys collaborated and you were able to bless them with your expertise. And so I've loved seeing that this year.
Yes, they are the best.
So I'd love for you to speak a little bit to people who are potentially on the fence, not just for the mastermind, but just going to the next level and transforming, because I know that there were some fears that came up for you. I think you admitted that you followed me for a good 3 years before taking the plunge into the program. So can you just talk to those people who are potentially on the fence about moving forward and just, really starting to transform their life and their business going into 2021?
Yes. I had never made, I'll say, a big investment in a mastermind before. I had been in one that was a more informal, I'll say, at a different price point. And I knew going in that I needed to take some kind of bold action to get a change, because doing things incrementally was really just getting me into the same lifestyle. But just taking the action of getting into this group, it made me want to show up. And from a mindset standpoint, I think at first it was just like, oh my gosh, I spent this money. I need to make sure I get something out of it.
Yeah.
But just coming into it, I knew that I was going to have the accountability in the community and was going to be showing up to these calls. And I wanted to have something that I was working on and something that I was doing. So it's really easy when it's just you to let things slide or to focus on minutia instead of staking claim to these bigger goals and this bigger vision. And so it helped push me out of my comfort zone in a lot of ways. That helped. It gave me real-time feedback with people who are my ideal clients. And I did so many things differently and that I wouldn't otherwise have done if I hadn't made that energy shift to say, I'm in this, I belong here, and let me have the results that go with being here.
Oh, that piece around I belong here. I think that's huge for people because I hear it all the time. Are people further along than me? Are they going to laugh at my questions? Am I going to fit in? Can I really do what those people are doing? And it ends up being this piece around being worthy. And I think so many people forget that it's actually smart to surround yourself and essential to surround yourself with people who have what you want and who are doing big things, who are going to inspire you and also hold you accountable to your next level. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
So what are you most excited about coming up, Val?
I think definitely taking some time off. I'm wanting to do some content creation and get into that creative piece. And I have my whole year mapped out for next year. And so I think seeing the results come in without the strife or the attachment to the outcome is going to be a totally new thing for me. And I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Me too. Well, we are so grateful to have had you in the mastermind this year. Thank you for sharing your story. I know that you've inspired a lot of people. For those who are watching, definitely listen to what Val said. Listen for the thing that has inspired you and then take that action on it. We're not just listening for inspiration. We actually want to take that action. And I love what you just mentioned here, Val. You said you have your whole year mapped out. And that's one of the things that we support our clients with in the mastermind is actually falling in love with planning with intention, getting clear on what's going to work in their business, and then mapping out that content, mapping out that schedule, understanding what you're going to sell when, so it all works together and you don't feel like a crazy person trying to, throw things in at the last minute. You actually know what's going to happen in your business. So thank you so much, Val. We'll let you go. You can enjoy Hawaii for us, and we'll talk to you soon. I hope you loved today's episode. Valarie is so inspiring. Remember, everything that she's achieved is possible for you too. If you go to IHeartMyLifeBooking.com, you can book a call to learn about working with us directly so that you can also start and grow your own online business. Now is the time to take massive action on behalf of your dreams. We hope you loved this episode. Thank you so much for being an avid listener of the I Heart My Life show. Take a second and leave a review. It would mean so much to us, and we read all of them. And for further inspiration and life and business tips about creating a life that you love and achieving massive success, definitely follow us at iHeartMyLife on Instagram and at iHeartMyLifeNow on Facebook. See you next time.